gals, and non-binary pals. Welcome to It's Quiz Time, a part of Board Game the Game Show and the Board Game the Game Show series of games. I couldn't use the word game more if I tried. We're going to start our competition in just a couple of minutes. Let me bring this up to help everyone. If you're here and you're live and you're ready to play, let's show you the board. We're going to begin It's Quiz Time in a couple of minutes. It's a 15-question game. The fastest in is going to get more points than everyone else, and the most points at the end of 15 questions is going to win fabulous prizes. Our prizes for today's game: first place takes home a Game of Thrones Catan from Catan Studios, and second place is going to take Hues and Cues from the Op. Once again, we'll be starting our game in a couple of minutes. If you're out there and you're watching and you want to play, awesome. Here's what you need to do. Get on any browser-based device, so like your phone or an iPad, even another screen, but it's going to be a little bit harder. And go to crowd.live and enter the code 6JAJF. Once again, 6JAJF is how you get in the game. We're going to start up in just a couple of minutes. I see a few of you here. Feel free to say hey. I can bring things on the screen. Also, if you don't feel like entering everything in, you're going to see that QR code on the screen there. Let me bring that up so it's a little bit bigger. And it is blocked by my remember to like and subscribe, so we'll just take that right back there. Once again, we're going to start up our contest in just a couple of minutes. Top 2 players are getting prizes. If I see the numbers right, there are 3 players here. "15 multiple choice questions. The faster you ring in, the better. If you get it wrong, you do not lose points. So that's the good thing about this. But the more you get right, the faster you get them right, the more points you're going to get. We have a couple people in. Let's say hey. Stuart Jorgensen, hey. Welcome. Thank you so much for coming out. Chris Hogue, thank you so much. Thank you as well for coming out. Once again, we're going to start this contest in just a couple of minutes. We had a 3 o'clock start time. That is technically for the start of the show. I'm probably going to start right around 3:05. We'll begin this. Once again, it's 15 questions. It is all multiple choice. If you want to get in, and I see we have 5 players in the game as I look down, go to crowd.live, enter the code 6JAJF. You're going to see all the questions come up on your phone. I always like to remind everybody there is a bit of a lag from when I say things into the camera and tell you what's going on and when they actually come to you on YouTube. So remember, look at your phones. The phones are judging time. So if you want to get in fastest and you want to win these great prizes, the phones are where you need to look. So I just want to make it clear to you. Good afternoon, John Paul. Thank you so much for showing up for today's game. And to the moon and back, hey! Welcome. Thanks so much for coming out. We're going to start this contest in about 4 minutes. I have 6 players in the game. Top 2 players are getting prizes. So odds are pretty good right now, but as we go along, there will be a chance for more players to play. If you're out there and you want to get in, take a look at the bottom of that big screen that you see that says Jen Cannett's Quiz Time. We are going to begin shortly. Go to crowd.live, enter the code 6JAJF on your phone or other web-based device, and jump in there for your chance to win. Tabletop Rebellion is showing up. Howdy! I get to do a mini Pearl impression, which A, is rare, and B, shows how old I am. So once again, we're going to start this contest in just a couple of minutes. Top 2 players are going to be winning prizes. If you're number 1 on the leaderboard, you're taking home a copy of a Game of Thrones Catan from our friends at Catan Studios. If you're coming in number 2, you're going to get Hues and Cues from the Op, a super cool new game that has just come out in all your local game scores. Let's take a look here. To be clear, we play through that link, not here on YouTube. So I'm going to read you the questions here on YouTube. I'm going to tell you what's going on right here. You're actually going to play the game on your device. Your device is going to tell you what's going on. I'm just hosting the game from here, talking your way through it, talking to you about questions, but you're actually going to physically play the game on whatever other device you are on. Your device is going to work as your controller for today's game. Hello, good luck all. Rudawalla Punk, good luck everybody. We're going to start up in just a couple of minutes. We have 7 players in the game. We can take the first 100. We can take as many as 100, but this is, of course, a Thursday afternoon and like a Thursday morning if you're in the West Coast. So we're going to start up in just a moment. My clock says it's 3:03. We'll start up in about 2 to 3 minutes. Once again, if you want to jump in the game, either scan that. Let's see. Let me see if I can do this correctly. Scan that code down there, or go to crowd.live, enter the code 6JAJF, 6JAJF. When you get in there, when I start the game up, it's going to turn your phone or your iPad or whatever device you're on or another window into a screen that's going to give you the multiple choice questions. As a note, as soon as you ring in on a multiple choice question, it's going to take your answer immediately. So you don't like hover and Once you click in, it's going to take it. The faster you answer, the more points you get. You do not lose points for a wrong answer. It's a 15-question game. It is what I like to call stream of consciousness trivia. So I'm just going to be talking to you. Sometimes you're going to be able to listen to what I'm saying, and it's going to point you in a specific direction, and you might know where the next question is going. But most of the time, you don't. So sit back and enjoy the ride. Once again, we're starting this contest up in just a moment. 8 players are in the game. 2 players are leaving with prizes. Once again, our first place prize, a Game of Thrones Catan from the fine folks at Catan Studio. And our second place prize, Hues and Cues from the Op. A really cool game. I got a chance to try this out when it was in demos and early playtests. A really fun, clue-giving color game. And of course, a Game of Thrones Catan. You know Catan. You know Game of Thrones. Put your chocolate in my peanut butter. We're going to start up in just a moment. Once again, feel free to say hey in the chat if you'd like. I can see that. I do occasionally bring it up on screen. Once we begin the game, I don't know how many times I'll be doing that, but You're going to have 15 seconds to answer each question. They are all going to be multiple choice. One note, because there are a lot of different phones and a lot of different devices. If you do not see 4 answers, you are missing an answer. Make sure you scroll up or down as needed. There are 4 answers to every question. With some luck, I haven't caused any errors and all the right answers are in the right places. We'll find out together. If I make any mistakes, if there are any problems, we're just going to have to deal with them because the score is added together and compounded through the entire game. I'm going to take one last look to make sure I didn't do something silly like not fill in an answer somewhere. And then we will begin our game. Thank you so much for spending part of your afternoon with me for Gen Cant, the convention. If you can't go to Gen Con, or I guess this year you don't want to go to Gen Con right now, come to Gen Cant. We're here. We're having fun. Remember, if you like the idea of the crossroads of board games and game shows, like and subscribe, please. It helps me out here. Let me take a look. Let me look through the last couple answers and make sure that I put the correct answers in the correct places. Gosh darn it, it looks like I did. So we are about to begin. I'm going to give about another minute, and then you're going to get a 10-second clock on the screen, and then we are going to begin. So remember, everyone, and I can't state this enough, pay attention to your phone, because the phone is where all the answers are coming in and where the time is actually being kept. I will be talking to you through here and talking you through all the questions. But once again, if there's any lag, the phone is the ultimate scorekeeper. The phone is the ultimate referee. We're about to begin. You know what? Let's just do this. Let's just start it. Let's get into question number 1. Guys, gals, non-binary pals, hands on buzzers. Look at your phones. We're about to start the count right now. Yes, I want to start the countdown timer. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's begin. Question number 1 of today's game. In what year was the first Gen Con held? 1966, 1968, 1970, or 1972? Once again, was it 66, 68, 1970, or 1972? Which year was the first Gen Con held? That's the opening question of today's game. In what year was the first Gen Con held? Let's take a look. I believe we have answers in. Let's see how you answered, folks. Your guesses are 3 people guessing 1968, 1 for 1970, 4 for 1972. The correct answer is 1968. 1968 was the very first Gen Con, the first official Gen Con. 1977 was a war game convention that had a very similar name, and some things went wrong with it. And then in 68 was the first real, honest-to-goodness official Gen Con. I know, you're not at Gen Con, you're here, but you know what? Let's acknowledge that it exists, folks. Let's take a look at the leaderboard. Right now, Alex B leading the game with 93 points. Ryan Brewer and Chris H tied at 77. And those are the 3 people that got it right. Don't worry, we have 15 questions in the game. A lot of time to go, a lot of time to catch up ground. Once again, top 2 players are going to get prizes. As we move on to question number 2. So we talked about for a second, hey, when was the first Gen Con? And we went through that. But for question number 2, I want you to tell me, where was the first Gen Con? The first Gen Con was held in which state? Pennsylvania, Indiana, Ohio, or Wisconsin? Which of those was the state where the first Gen Con was held? Pennsylvania, Indiana, Ohio, or Wisconsin? And for those of you out there, don't worry. The whole game is not about Gen Con. You can stop looking things up now because this might be the end of the Gen Con questions. Just letting you know. Let's see how you answered. 3 guesses on Indiana, 1 guess on Ohio, 4 guesses on Wisconsin. The correct answer is, in fact, Wisconsin. Wisconsin, the correct answer. for the first Gen Con, held at the Lake Geneva Ag Center. Things I had to learn today while researching this game. Who'd have thunk it? Let's take a look. Let's see how the board looks. Alex B leading the game with 182, Chris H at 157, Hornis 34 at 88, Ryan Brewer at 77, Kim B at 68, Corey, Noah, and Dupe all in the game. I'm going to pull back for just a second to this screen, and then that one where that's a little bit bigger. If you're out there and you're watching and you want to play, you can still jump in right now. Go to crowd.live, enter the code 6JAJF. It disappears just as I am about to say it, as we are about to move on to our third question of the game. So we talked about just a moment ago that Wisconsin was where the first Gen Con was held. So here's my Wisconsin question. What's the capital of Wisconsin? Is it Green Bay, Milwaukee, Madison, or Lake Geneva? Once again, is it Green Bay, Milwaukee, Madison, or Lake Geneva? Which of those is the capital of Wisconsin? Sometimes capital's not the biggest city, but there you go. There are your answers. Green Bay, Milwaukee, Madison, or Lake Geneva. Let's take a look. All guesses on Madison. You're trivia players. I can't run a stupid little question by you. You're going to get that. Everybody gets on the board with that. Good work. Good work, everyone. I'm happy to see it. I'm happy to see points on the board. Every once in a while, I can sneak one of those by everybody. I can't do it to you. Not today, not now, as you're on your quest for Game of Thrones Catan from the fine folks at Catan Studios and Hughes and Q's from our friends at the Op. Let's take a look at the board. Alex B with 273, Chris H at 210, Hornis 34 at 172, Kim B at 149, Ryan Brewer at 141, Corey 828 in with 86, Noah with 84, and Dupe with 68. You're thinking to yourself, Bruce, if there were 100 of us, would you read all the names? No, I would only read the top couple. But I appreciate that all 8 of you are playing, so we're just going to go through. We're going to cover just all the names when we do this. So the last option I gave you was Lake Geneva, of course, where I told you earlier the first Gen Con was held. So now let's cover a Geneva question. The Geneva Conventions concerning, among other things, the rules of war took place in which country? Switzerland, Germany, Croatia, or Austria? Where were the Geneva Conventions? Were they in Switzerland, Germany, Croatia, or Austria? If you're thinking, Bruce, that took a wild left turn. That is what this game is about. Welcome to It's Quiz Time, stream of consciousness trivia, where I just, whatever I think of, I say. Let's take a look and see how you answer. This one, I feel like you're a good group of folks, and you're all going to get this, but let's put it up. Let's take a look at how you answered. 7 answering Switzerland, 1 answering Austria. The correct answer is, in fact, Switzerland. Geneva, Switzerland. Completely neutral country. That's why everybody went there. Let's take a look. Alex B leading with 364. Chris H with 289. Hornist 34 at 254. Kim B at an even 200 after 4 questions. Ryan Brewer at 196. Corey 828 at 157. Dupe at 123. Noah at 84. That's where we sit right now as we ask our question about the Geneva Convention. So one of the things that the Geneva Convention has covered are the rules of war. Many people, watch yourself, transition coming, segues here, watch yourself, the World Board Gaming Conventions deal with a lot of war games that also deal with the rules of war. So my question for you is, the World Board Gaming Championships are annually held in which state? That is, as of currently in the last bunch of years, the WBC, the World Board Gaming Championships, are annually held in which state? A lot of war games there. I have been there. It is just rooms full of them. Not that you won't see all kinds of other games, because you will. You'll see a ton of stuff there at the WBC. And your chance to, as they say, win wood. You try to win wooden plaques there. How did you answer? 2 guesses of Maryland, a guess of Ohio, no guesses of Vermont. I thought Vermont might trip you up, but it didn't. And 4 guesses of Pennsylvania. The correct answer is, in fact, Pennsylvania for at least the last decade plus. It used to be a convention called Avalon Con, the Avalon Hill Game Company based out of Baltimore. And there were some years where it was in Maryland, but for the last, I don't even know, at minimum the last decade, I think probably much longer, it has been held, in fact, in Pennsylvania. Let's take a look. Let's see how the scores are going. Alex B still at the top at 459. Alex B really wants to win a copy of Game of Thrones Catan. Hornis 34 at 344, Chris H at 289, Kim B at 244, Ryan Brewer 239, Corey 828 in at 157, Dupe at 123, and Noah at 84. The game is no longer updating for me. I'm not sure what to tell you. You might be able to go back in and put the code in again, or you may be able to refresh. I'm willing to wait just a moment if you want to put that crowd.live code, that 6JAJF, back in. We are only on question 5. I'm not sure if it will let you back in with the same name or not. To be honest with you, I've never really had this happen. And I've run a lot of games of this, and I haven't had it to where it just completely goes through it. But yeah, feel free to check back in to refresh to see if that'll fix it. I know normally in the past when I've messed with these, when it's things like Jackbox and even this program, sometimes they refresh and it will just set you right up with where you need to be. Beyond that, I would say check the settings where you are and make sure that you are connected to the internet. That's kind of the best I can help you with here, unfortunately. So we were talking about the state of Pennsylvania where the WBC is held. The WBC is held out near Pittsburgh, but I live on the East Coast, so I'm a little closer to Philly. So we're going to talk about Philadelphia for a second. According to Visit Philly, which of these is not an iconic Philly food? Cheesesteak, cheesecake, pork roll sandwich, or soft pretzels? Once again, according to the fine folks at Visit Philly, which of these is not an iconic Philly food? I do it with the big quotation marks. Cheesesteak, cheesecake, pork roll, or soft pretzels? Have you ever been to PAX Unplugged? This will be an easy one for you because you're right across the street from one of the top Philly food destinations there. But let's take a look and see how you answered. 1 on cheese steak, 3 on cheesecake, 3 on pork roll sandwich, 1 on soft pretzels. You're all over the board. The correct answer is cheesecake. As much as you would think it is a Philly food, it absolutely is not. Cheesesteaks are well known for. Pork roll sandwich is certainly a thing, and it's a thing they're known for. And soft pretzels, for some reason, is a Philadelphia thing. But that's why we used an actual source that we told you about. Visit Philly does not say that it's an iconic Philadelphia food. Let's take a look. Let's see how the game's shaken up. Alex B with 532, Hornets 34 at 344, Chris H at 289, Ryan Brewer at 285, Kim B at 244, and the rest of the game, I'm trying to get to the 200s. A lot of game left ahead of you. Don't worry about it. We got a lot of time. There's a lot of time on the clock, a lot of questions still remaining. We're at question 6 of 15 questions for today's game. So when you think about the great city of Philadelphia, one of the things you may think about is the movie Rocky and the famous Rocky steps. But the question I have for you is, the Rocky steps in Philly are iconic, but can you pick the director of the movie Rocky out of a list? Yes, it's Sylvester Stallone. Yes, it's John Avildsen. Yes, it's Francis Ford Coppola. Or yes, it's Billy Wilder. If given a list, as you have been, which one of those folks is the director of the movie Rocky? Everybody knows the character. Everybody remembers this, although my hands are way above where the camera is. But can you tell me the director of Rocky? Let's take a look and see how you answered. 2 guesses on Sylvester Stallone, 1 on John Avildsen, 4 on Francis Ford Coppola, 2 on Billy Wilder. The correct answer is John Avildsen. Sylvester Stallone starred in the movie and later directed other movies, even other movies in the Rocky franchise, but not the first one. Francis Ford Coppola, a whole bunch of movies under Francis Ford Coppola's direction, including, and if I'm wrong, I know out there you're going to yell at me, but The Godfathers. And then Billy Wilder did movies like Some Like It Hot. I did some of the Apartment, The Fortune Cookie, some of the stuff from the 1960s that's pretty popular. So let's take a look. One person getting it right. This is a chance to really kind of jump ahead. Let's go to the rankings. Alex B at 532. Hornets 344. Chris H 289. Ryan Brewer at 285. And at the very bottom, we have Doug R joining the game. Welcome to the game, Doug. Thanks so much for taking the time to come out. Top 3. Remember, the top 2 are taking on prizes. Right now, as it sits, Alex B would be leaving with Game of Thrones Catan from the fine folks at Catan Studios. Hornets 34 would be leaving with Hughes and Q's from our friends at the Op. But there's still a lot of game left and a lot of chance for you to get in to that top group. So we just talked about Rocky and the director of Rocky, one John Avildsen. So let's talk about movies for a second. We're discussing movies. I need you to tell me, which of these is the top grossing movie of all time? The Avengers, Avengers Age of Ultron, Avengers Endgame, or Avengers Infinity War? Which of those is the top grossing movie of all time? I'll let you know a little secret. All 4 of them are in the top 11. Of the top 11 movies, you have 4 of them on the screen. The top grossing movie of all time. Is it The Avengers, Avengers Age of Ultron, Avengers Endgame, or Avengers Infinity War? Let's take a look at how you answered. 7 guesses of Endgame, 1 guess or 2 guesses of Infinity War. The correct answer is Avengers Endgame. So give me one second. Let me pull my notes up here real quick because I don't want to misquote this. But let's take a look. The Avengers is number 8. Age of Ultron is number 11. Infinity War is number 5. And Avengers Endgame is the number 1 grossing movie of all time, beating Titanic Titanic is in 3rd, beating the movie with the blue people that I all of a sudden forgot as I'm sitting here. But it's only beating it by like hundreds of thousands of dollars in a $1 billion industry. Avatar, beating Avatar. I don't know if I saw any of you say that, but yes, beating Avatar by just a little bit. Remember, if you want to comment out there in the comments in the chat, feel free. I can see it, and I might bring it up on the screen and talk to you. Let's take a look. Let's see how this affects the board. Alex B leading with 616, Chris H with 356, Ryan Brewer with 347. There is a tight race for second place, and Hughes and Q's. Hornist at 344, also in that fight for second place. Kim B at 293, almost hitting 300. And then Dupe, Noah, Corey, Steph, welcome to the game. Chad, welcome to the game. Doug, everybody there fighting your way up to the top. Remember, top 2 will be taking on prizes. Also, remember, if you like this, if you're having fun, we're doing this again tomorrow night at 8 p.m. Different questions, different prizes. So we're going to head in. We just talked about the Avengers and all of the Avengers movies being, oh my goodness, just making every dollar. There's also a lot of themed games about the Avengers. So we're going to talk for a second because we're here for games. We're going to talk about kind of a weird game. The fine folks at Catan Studios have provided our top prize, a Game of Thrones Catan. So it's going to help you on this question. I'm going to show you 4 Catans. Tell me which one is not an actual Catan. Which of these is not a real version of Catan? Game of Thrones Catan, Star Trek Catan, Catan Chocolate Edition, or Harry Potter Catan? Which of those is not a real Catan? I made one up. I made a Catan up. I just went, just made a Catan out of thin air. Game of Thrones, Star Trek, Catan Chocolate Edition, or Harry Potter Catan. This, of course, is according to Catan Studios. John Paul. Stuart, let me know it is Avatar. Yep, I fixed that. Thank you, Stuart. John Paul, Death by Fat Fingers. That is how it goes sometimes. These have caused me a lot of trouble over the years answering these questions. Let's take a look and see how you answer. 9 guesses of Harry Potter Catan, 2 guesses of Catan the Chocolate Edition. At least one of them, folks, has been blamed on fat fingers. The correct answer, as you well know, is Harry Potter Catan. Game of Thrones Catan is your prize, so you know that one's real. Let's take a look and see how this affects the board. Alex B with 703, Chris H with 429, Hornets 34 with 423, Kim B with 358, Ryan Brewer with 347, and then the rest of the stack shooting their way to get to 300. Remember, top prize, Game of Thrones Catan. Second prize, Hughes and Q's from fine folks at the op. We're going to keep moving through. Once again, we were just talking about all the different licensed versions of Catan, of which one of them you're going to win. So here's our next question. Let's talk a little bit about Harry Potter. I would remind you, or I would tell you if you didn't already know, I personally do not know a ton about Harry Potter. So I want you to know I have no idea how hard this next question is, but it made me smile. Here we go. Which of these is the founder of Hogwarts House? Rowena Ravenclaw, Stephen Slytherin, Harry Hufflepuff, or Godfrey Gryffindor? Which of them is the founder of Hogwarts House? 3 of them are not. So you just tell me which one is for the points. Once again, I remind you, I have no idea how hard this question is. I don't Harry Potter much. No problem with Harry Potter, but now later, it's a whole thing. But I don't know if this is an easy question or not. I think it might be, but I'm not sure. Let's see how you answered. 4 answers of Rowena Ravenclaw, 2 of Stephen Slytherin, 2 of Harry Hufflepuff, 3 of Godfrey Gryffindor. So clearly this was a harder question than I thought it was. They are all, in fact, Harry Potter houses, but only one of them is the right founder. Rowena Ravenclaw is the correct answer. I specifically gave you very modern names like Stephen and Harry to throw you off a little bit. I thought Godfrey would be the other one that would be tough, but Rowena is the only one of those 4 people that actually founded a house of Ravenclaw. A big note from Tabletop Rebellion. No, I hit the wrong button. That's how it happens. This is a speed game. Mistakes can be made. Unforced errors occur. Let's take a look. Let's see what the scores look like. Alex B with 703. Hornist with 498. Chris H with 429. Kim B Ryan Brewer and Noah in the 300s. Duke, Corey 828, Steph E, Doug R, and Chad B are all under 300 points at this point in the game. We got a third of the game remaining. 5 more questions. We're on question number 10. We're about to head into question number 11. So just a moment ago, we were talking about Harry Potter houses. So let's talk about houses some more. For this question, here we go. Which of these types of houses is also a card in the base game of Seven Wonders? A cottage, a castle, a palace, or a yurt? Once again, which of these types of houses is also a card in the base game of Seven Wonders? A cottage, a castle, a palace, or a yurt? That's my question for you. I need you to know things about houses and also about Seven Wonders. Let's take a look. 1 guess of a castle, 8 guesses of a palace. The correct answer is, in fact, a palace. You're right. I couldn't believe there weren't castles or cottages in it either, and I have it. I had to go through. I was like, there's got to be a castle in there, right? Nope. I don't know if it comes up later, but it is not in the base game. Let's take a look at the scores with that. Let's try it again. Let's take a look at the scores with that. Alex B leading with 761, Hornist with 516, Chris H with 469, Noah with 424, Ryan Brewer 5 points away from the 400-point club, and then Kim, Corey, Dupe, Steph, Doug, and Chad fighting their way up to the top. We have 4 more questions remaining. At this point, you just need to hope that Alex misses some of these. That's what you really, really need. And we'll see how that goes. Still, once again, whole bunch of stuff going on. So the last thing we talked about in that last question were yurts. So I want your help with this one. Most commonly, yurts are shaped like which of these? A pumpkin pie, a UFC ring, a wrestling or boxing ring, or a Dorito? Most commonly, yurts are shaped like which of those? A pumpkin pie, a UFC ring, a wrestling or boxing ring, or a Dorito? So yes, you must know the shape of yurts and of other objects. Some of them places where you fight, some of them things you eat. Who'd have thunk it? I know. You never could have thought at the beginning that this is what we were going to do. Let's take a look and see what your guesses are. No guesses of a pumpkin pie. 6 guesses of a UFC ring, guessing the octagon. 1 guess of a wrestling or boxing ring, a square. And 5 guesses of a Dorito, a triangle. The correct answer is, in fact, a pumpkin pie. Most yurts, according to all yurt research I could do, are normally circles. So there you go. Nobody getting that one, so that changes none of the scores as we head into question number 13. So we talked about Doritos. Doritos are a triangle. They're also a tasty chip. Doritos are also, according to Business Insider, created from whose trash? Taco Bell, McDonald's, Disneyland, or Trader Joe's. One of those organizations invented Doritos from their trash. Was it Taco Bell, McDonald's, Disneyland, or Trader Joe's? Which of those 4 well-known places / companies created the Dorito with the stuff they threw away? Your guesses are 8 guesses of Taco Bell, 1 guess of McDonald's, 2 guesses of Disneyland, 1 guess of Trader Joe's. The correct answer is Disneyland. Disneyland had an idea to make money in their Cafe de la Frito, or whatever it was called in the 60s. And they bought old stale chips and then covered them in cheese powder. And soon enough, Frito-Lay marketed them, and they are the Doritos that you see today. That's at least the story that I got from Business Insider, is they were completely created by Disneyland with just like random trash they found laying around. Let's take a look and see how that affects the scores. Alex B at 761, Hornist at 516, Chris H at 469, climbing to get into that second place spot, and a copy of Hughes and Q's from our friends at the Op. Noah at 424, Ryan Brewer 5 points away from getting into the 400 club. Kim, Corey, Dupe, Steph, Chad, Doug, and Star, welcome to the game, Star, are all kind of in the back climbing your way up. 2 questions remaining, question 14, question 15. That's all you have left. We are in the home stretch for your chance to win a copy of Settlers of Catan, but also a Game of Thrones Catan from the fine folks at Catan Studios, and a copy of Hughes and Q's from the fine folks at the Op. Those are first and second place. So we're going to talk about Disneyland for just a second. The next question coming up is a little confusing, and it has a couple of parts, but I really like it. So for the next question, I need you to tell me, which of these things that I'm going to put on the screen was also trashed by Disneyland? And for that to work, it also has to have been a part of Disneyland, and then also Disneyland got rid of it. So I'm just warning you for the next question, and I'm taking this time to make sure that as much of the gap between when I say it and when you hear it is covered. For the next question, tell me which of these other things was trashed by Disneyland in that it was in Disneyland and Disneyland got rid of it. Here we go. Which of these was also trashed by Disneyland in that they did have it at Disneyland and also got rid of it? Shrek's Castle, the Wizard of Braz, Autotopia, or the Disney Gallery? Which of the, or Autopia? Autopia. Autopia. That's how you say it, folks. Is it Shrek's Castle, the Wizard of Braz, Autopia, or the Disney Gallery? Which of them did they have and then also got rid of? So both parts have to be true for this question to work. There is one guess of Shrek's Castle, 3 guesses of the Wizard of Braz, 8 guesses on Autopia, and 1 guess on the Disney Gallery. The correct answer is the Wizard of Braz. So let's go through them all. Shrek's Castle was a completely different company, so it was never in Disneyland. Autopia is still at Disneyland. It's changed names through the years, but it's currently Autopia. It is their like Cars ride that they have. And then the Disney Gallery is there. It is where they sell a lot of their works of art, and it is at Disneyland. So the Wizard of Braz, though. So when Disneyland first opened, they did in fact have a lingerie shop that you could go to. Or if you didn't want to leave with a corset that day while you were at Disneyland, you could go upstairs to the Museum of Braz, where the Wizard of Braz would walk you through the history of Braz the Disney way. I mean, it was only there for a couple of years, but it was in fact a part of Disney's history. If you look it up, a lot of people joke about that Walt would have that in Disneyland. So let's take a look at the scores. How are we looking here? Alex B with 8 1/4 looks to be the shoe-in for our first place prize. Hornets 34 at 516. Chris H at 469. Lantern just joining the game as we are going through the top spots. Remember, the top 2 are taking prizes. Most likely Alex B. I don't think anything can stop him now, or her. Alex B. will be winning Game of Thrones Catan, but second place is very much in a fight. A lot of people could still get there on Hornets 34. Whoever has second place at the end of this next question will be taking home a copy of Hues and Cues from the fine folks at the Up. So we're going to head into our final question of the game, guys, gals, non-binary pals. Thank you so much for joining me here. Commonly, when I do It's Quiz Time, which is this whole thing you're a part of, I like to end with an unrelated science question, and that's what I'm going to do today. I'm going to end with an unrelated science question that if you've been paying attention to anything, you might be able to get as a note. Lantern Noir did not see that coming. No, I know, Wizard of Braz, right? So here's your final science-related question. Hands on buzzers. Let's get ready. Here we go. There is a U.S. shuttle launch today as we speak, sending a rover where? The moon, Venus, Neptune, or Mars? That is our final question of the game. That is our science-related question. It also dovetails into tonight's game, our first episode of the interview that we are doing tonight. Let's take a look and see how you answered. 1 guess of the moon, 2 guesses of Venus, 1 guess of Neptune, 8 guesses of Mars, and that is because it is Mars. Once again, it dovetails into tonight's game because tonight at 8 p.m. right here, I'm going to be talking to Stephen Buonocore, about to retire from Stronghold Games. We're going to talk to him about it. He was actually at the shuttle launch today. We're going to see what he has to say about that. We're going to play a great 50-50 game with Stephen, where if you can guess his opinions on things like which is better, pizza or hot dogs, you can win some great prizes from Stronghold Games. Once again, we're doing that tonight at 8 p.m. But what we need to worry about right now is who won this game. Let's take a look. Here are your final scores. Winning the game with 825, Alex B. in second place with 563. Hornist 34. Noah, so close, Noah, so close. But not close enough to take the prize. So Alex B, Hornist, if both of you would contact me on Twitter at BG The Game Show, I will get all the information to you and get you hooked up with the right people to get you your fabulous prizes. Once again, Alex B, Hornist 34. If you would be so kind, go to Twitter at BG The Game Show. Send me a message there, and we will get you hooked up with the right people to get those games in your hands. Once again, folks, thank you so much for spending the time today to watch this. We will be back tonight at 8 p.m. with the interview with Stephen Buonocore. We'll be back tomorrow at 3 p.m., the interview with Sen-Foong Lim. We'll be back tomorrow night at 8 p.m. once again with this game. And then finally, we're going to close out our Gen Cant on Saturday at 7 p.m., the interview with Elizabeth Hargrave. You would probably know her from a little game called Wingspan. Once again, we'll be back. We'll be doing those things for the rest of Gen Cant. Check out the schedule. See what else is happening with Gen Cant. I'm Alex B. If whoever ends up second wants Catan, I will gladly take Hughes and Q's. I have Catan already. So Hornist, if you want to talk to Alex B, Root Wallapunk, we'll sit here and kind of work this out. What is the email address? I did not ask for an email address. Go to Twitter at BG The Game Show and send that to me. Stuart, thank you so much for coming out. Tabletop Rebellion, I'm glad you had fun. Thank you once again. 4 more shows coming. 1 more of these tomorrow at 8. 3 of the interview with Stephen Bonacore today, Sen-Fuong Lim on Friday, and Elizabeth Hargrave on Saturday. Check them out. As a note, if neither of them want it, I'll take it at third if nobody wants the Game of Thrones Catan. Thank you very much, Lantern Noir, for putting that in there for me. Yep, at BG The Game Show on Twitter, send me a message and we'll get everything in the right places. I'm leaving this up, so if you two want to make a trade, you certainly can. Or I'll put a post out there congratulating you, and you can all talk to each other and let me know how you want to do it. I'm okay with that. Once again, thank you so much. Doug, thanks for coming out. Everybody, thanks for being here. Have fun with the rest of your Gen Con. If you go over to Gen Con, have fun with the rest of your Gen Con. Remember, keep checking here. More games are coming. Please like, please subscribe, please tell people. Check out the rest of the stuff on the channel. We're running a bunch of game shows here. Some of them are live right now. Once again, thank you so much. Have a fantastic afternoon or evening, depending on where you are. And thank you. And I'll see you at the next game, hopefully tonight at 8 p.m. with Stephen Bonacore. Have a great time, folks. Bye.